I think that the realness of chiropractic is so true with like what D.D. Palmer said. It connects man, the physical, with man, the spiritual, so that the finite might know the infinite. And that is the most beautiful saying, because he got it right from the beginning. And it really does. And so many people just completely change throughout care. Their personality changes, their habits change, because they're letting all of these compensations just fall away.
Well, hello, everybody. Dr. Ron Oberstein, president of Life West. And with me, or by my side today, I have the presidential spouse, Dr. Mary Oberstein.
Hi there.
And welcome to another edition of Life by Life West. We've got a couple on with us today that we've been trying to get on. I don't know for how long. Has it been like a year or two? You guys have been running from us, not from us, but we've been running to you, I should say. This is a couple that we've been wanting to bring on for quite some time. Dynamic chiropractors, and just, have a dynamic practice. And they're going to be sharing a lot about what's happening in their lives, around chiropractic and possibly other areas. I want to introduce you, Dr. Amy and Dr. Ari Anthony. So welcome.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
I kind of share, I'll give you a little bit of update on them. Dr. Amy graduated in 2015, and she hung out in the Bay Area. That's a lot to do, Dr. Ari, for Dr. Ari, because he was a year behind her. They are both, this is amazing, both chiro kids. And just that's what happens when you go to Life West, right? Chiro kids meet chiro kids, or non-chiro kids and have chiro kids, that kind of thing. And speaking of chiro kids, Amy's cooking a chiro kid right now, chiro baby in her belly, and she'll be delivering at some point pretty soon. They have a practice. They've been in Olympia, Washington. They have a practice called Oly, like for Olympia, Oly Family Chiropractic, just blowing the doors off and just doing great stuff. And we're going to dive into it. So let's just talk about it, and right now I know your practice is exploding. Tell us what's been happening around the practice.
Yeah. Well, we just, been growing, and our practice is, we've been, building our team and are looking to expand our space. So, about triple the actual physical size, which is going to be really exciting and fun, because we're kind of tripping over each other at this point, but it's been awesome for 5 years now, and, really helped us serve the community. So it's a good problem to have, I think.
We've done it so many different ways, and, changed over so many different procedures in the office. And we've really just honed into the way that we really love to do it. And it makes showing up to the office every day just so easy and fun, and getting to just turn the power on for so many people has just been such a great gift.
Right. And you guys already have a space picked out?
Well, our current space actually we're gonna expand it. So the people who are next door have been out, and so we're looking to take over the rest of the space.
We don't even need to move. It's great.
I love it. It's kind of nice. Yeah.
What's your square footage right now?
It's about 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
1,000, and you're seeing a lot of folks, man. That's incredible. It's incredible.
One exam room has been the bottleneck.
That's the bottleneck right there.
Yeah, that's the bottleneck.
Yeah. So
I can see tripping over each other trying to get to a table and doing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally.
share with us, like, what's a day like for you, at the office, right? With both of you, you work the same hours, you work different hours, do you trip over each other constantly, or only at certain time? You know what I'm saying? Like, tell us about it.
We work the same hours, so we're there together the whole time, and with our team, and we have 2 CAs right now, and we see patients together. They see both of us, so there isn't anyone that sees only one of us. And so we're really intentional about that, so that that's a part of the experience that patients get. And we, have our open adjusting area, and we're serving throughout the day and processing, having new patients come in, and reports, and getting people started, and families. And so it just kind of flows all together.
Yeah. We, like, one of the things that we love to do when we show up is just like have our team huddle in the morning and just get everybody on the same page. Yeah. And we set an intention, and then we just go out and start adjusting. And we recently hired someone to do the exams in the office, and that's been just the biggest blessing because she's a rock star. She's been in chiropractic longer than us, like 20 years, and has helped open up practices all over, the country. And she found someone that she wanted to marry in Olympia, and is working in our office now. And just it's been amazing, really, to just allow her to do her thing and take people through the first and second visit, and we're adjusting people and explaining their findings to them. So it's just really flowed really well.
I love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened with us too, of course, but tell the truth. She does a much better exam than either of you, correct?
Oh, 100%.
So
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, she took a day off, and I was like, "Oh man, I am rusty at this." Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
we're super grateful
when,
for
when people come in, do you tell them right from the beginning, you'll be seeing either one of us, like, it's just whoever like happens to adjust that person that day? Yes?
Yeah. Yep. They just sit down. Patients just come in, sit at an open table, and whoever's available will go see them.
Yeah. The only
Okay.
real difference, is like Amy does Webster and is Webster certified, and I'm not. And we see a lot of pregnant moms and kids and things like that in our office. And sometimes based off of like a referral, someone will be like, "Oh, I want to see Dr. Amy," but really that's like the only time. Yeah.
That just answered my question. My next question was going to be,
Perfect.
Yeah.
do people, request one or the other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare.
It's pretty
I think
rare.
It's like only.
And we
like
like it that
once in a
way. Like I really, because to me, I feel like we're doing a really good job when someone understands that it's not the chiropractor, it's the adjustment, right? And so when people are staying clear and they get that message of like, this is what it takes to hold your alignment, to hold your adjustment, to start to heal from the inside out. It's like, it's not the person that's doing it, right? Like the adjustment doesn't do the healing, like holding your alignment does the healing. And so when people start to understand that, we just get a lot less of like, "Oh, I want his adjustments," or "I want her adjustments." And I'm just like, "Oh, you're missing the point,"
Yeah. It's interesting too, because, we've had both of us, we've always had at least 3 chiropractors in the office, and sometimes 5 and sometimes 6. And, the greatest line that I love to give, and
I know what you're gonna say.
yeah, the same thing with you, is after report of findings, we always told them the same thing. We said, "Listen, you're not just going to see me, let's just say there's 3 of us, right? You're going to see all 3 of us. We believe 3 heads are better than 1, 6 hands are better than 2, and everyone will know know what's going on with you. And that's what we want, so, and then I'll go, "Oh yeah," it just creates that specialness, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but it's how you set that up. If we said to somebody like, "Now listen, you're
Right.
not gonna just see me," like all of a sudden you'd be putting this fear in of like people going like, "Well, but I want to."
Right.
And we were just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
this is great.
It's just not a part of our world, like
Yeah.
I really believe in like when we focus on things, we attract it into our lives. And the less we focus on like, finding problems with people throughout care, it's just like I just focus on them just getting better, and I just focus on them holding their alignment. And really, like when we get down to the simplistic nature of chiropractic, like what else is there?
Yeah.
Right. And all those other problems just go away.
That's right.
So so you have the one person who does your exams.
Mhm.
Yep.
How many other team members?
We have 1 CA at the front desk, and we're in the process of hiring a second. So we'll have 2 at the front desk,
Mhm.
and then our exam CA.
That's great. That's
Wow.
great.
So keep
That's
on
great.
growing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So share with us, like, not a challenge, because it doesn't have to be a challenge, but like a change or something that you guys went through in the office. You're going through one now, right? Obviously, you'll be expanding, you're bringing more team on. But what was something that you could share with our audience, this is possible, like, don't think it's impossible. Tell us something that might have took place over the last, 5 years, at Oly Family Chiropractic, where there was a big change,
Yeah. I mean, one of like just one, right. I mean, this comes to mind like right away, just getting clear on chiropractic, right? And this was what happens to every office, right? You start out, you graduate, you think you know what chiropractic is, and then you start adjusting people, and then you're like listening to the words coming out of your mouth, and you're like, like maybe that's not exactly what I believe. And then you start to think more about what you do believe. And I think the greatest blessing of just having somebody else in the office to work with, whether it's a spouse or another chiropractor that you opened up your office with, is just that dialogue back and forth of like, well, is this true? Like, and do I believe this because somebody told me this about chiropractic, or is this actually the way that it is?
Right.
And just getting clear on that, has just allowed our office to change so much. You know, we went from adjusting completely different, and we started off diversified. And then I received an adjustment from Dr. Jason Sabo, who has the largest office in Canada. And within 5 minutes of that adjustment, I had got hearing back in my right ear, and it was gone all the way throughout school. I just woke up one morning and like couldn't hear out of my right ear, like 85% gone. And so within 5 minutes of that adjustment, it was crystal clear. And I was at a seminar at the time, and I started bawling because, you know, I had no idea that that was even possible. And within the weekend, I learned his technique, and we just switched everybody over in the office. And I taught Amy that same weekend, and we just started rocking and rolling, and it was just like a different purpose, you know, like before, like we were on purpose, but now it's like we had this direction, and it just allowed everything to blossom.
Yeah. And you know what, I think part of that, I mean, you can attest to this, right? I mean, overnight you change your technique, obviously, right? But having an experience like that, people just, they get it non-verbally, right? Like this changed my life, right? And boom, you know, it's like you wouldn't give anyone else anything different, right?
Right.
It's incredible.
And I mean, the whole purpose of, you know, just that communication was like, look, like, I know that this is going to be better for you if we do it this way. Like, I know that you probably want that because you're used to that, and that's fine, but try it this way. And let's just see how it works for you, because this has been amazing for me. And I just want you to have that same benefit. Right. Yeah.
It's great.
So I gotta dig on this a little bit more, because I've heard stories like this, and I myself at one point, remember I started doing upper cervical work. How did that, like, I mean, not everybody just went like, okay, I trust you. You had to have some people who were like, wait a minute, you're not going to do, you know, use the word.
I would wrestle them down to the table, and I would just I'd adjust them. No, I mean, there's always difficult people, you know, but I think
we didn't have one person leave care.
Yeah, we didn't have one.
Like,
there's, you know,
awesome.
So everybody's coming to the office because they want help, right? Whether it's with symptoms or it's in their life or whatever it is, but like we're all on this path of trying to be our best selves, whether we know it or not. And I think that the realness of chiropractic is so true with like what Didi Palmer said. It connects man, the physical, with man, the spiritual, so that the finite might know the infinite. And that is the most beautiful saying, because he got it right from the beginning. And it really does. And so many people just completely change throughout care. Their personality changes, their habits change, because they're letting all of these compensations just fall away. Sure. And I think just, you know, being able to have that experience just gave me some confidence, gave us some confidence to just communicate that a little bit more clearly.
Yeah. And let's face it, you know what? I mean, think about this. It's, you know, you stated it earlier. People don't come in for the technique. Yeah. You know, they might be referred from a technique or been under care for 25 years, and then they want that. I get that. They want that same technique. But people who are starting with you, or just, you know, been under care a short while coming in, they're not coming in for the technique. They're not coming in even for necessarily our personality. They're coming for results, right? Yeah. And that intention, like setting that intention and having that strong intention within, you know, within ourselves as DCs, right? As caretakers, you know, people feel that they feel the unspoken word.
Yeah, you have to believe in what you do and know that it's going to work, and that has to start here first.
But there's a bit of a pitfall with what you said, you know, because when people are coming in for results, we feel like we have to deliver results, and it's really easy to get sidetracked from chiropractic and start doing other things when we want the body to heal faster on our time, right? And the body heals on its own time, and I think that's the most important thing to remember, because chiropractic works every time if you're adjusting subluxations, and that's what interferes with the nerve system. And so, you know, that's allowed us to just have a lot of confidence in our communication, because I know that you're going to get better, because the body is always going to heal when it's capable of doing so. And it just takes allowing everything to change from where you have been to now where you're going.
That's right. And the results really are the correction of the subluxation. Right. How the healing takes place, we don't have control over. What it looks like, we don't have control over, but having that confidence and competence and that intention behind it is just amazing.
It's key for sure.
It's so cool. It's overnight, man. I don't know if we could do that, you know. Wow. Walking in one day. Mary went to upper cervical. She was doing knee chest. So it was like, okay, come here. hands and knees, put your head like this, make sure your tongue isn't by your teeth, and oh, you know, this kind of thing, you know. And but the truth is, you were so turned on to it that people just, you know, they come in.
They didn't question it.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you have that excitement, they want some of that. They can see that and feel that for sure.
You said something interesting, Ari, before about like, you know, having each other to bounce ideas off and talk. I think we had an associate once who left, went and opened his own practice, and he would come back to visit and he'd say, it's just not the same. Like, it was so nice being in the office and always talking chiropractic and bouncing ideas off each other and just staying like dipped, anchored, whatever you want to say, like in the philosophy. And that's what was been so cool, like practicing with someone like that. So I kind of want to pivot a little bit and find out, besides each other, what do you guys do to stay anchored? And, you know, who are your mentors? And, you know, just what have you done?
Yeah. I've been coaching with a chiropractor for like the last 3 years. So like literally weekly calls for 3 years straight. Dr. Nystrom, she's been amazing. And
both of you, Amy, both, or just
I've been, and then Ari is coaching with Judson.
Yeah, Steve Judson.
Wow.
So we both work with like our own coaches because we're individuals and chiropractors, and so we want to make sure that we're both getting like what we need. And so that's been a huge help. And then going to DE, and that's been a big part of our life. From the moment that we started our practice, we started going to DE, and that has taught us abundance and philosophy and service and just all the foundation. It's like when our team joins our practice, like they have to understand what lasting purpose is. They have to understand what, you know, the dynamic essential is. That's a part of our like onboarding process. So it's been a big impact on us.
So check it out. You obviously, and I love the fact that you have two different coaches, because I think it's so important, because you have to grow as individuals. If all of a sudden you get a jewel or a diamond or a gold nugget about, hey, we should turn the tables the opposite direction, and one person gets that, I'm making that up, of course. You go to the other and say, hey, we got to do this, or do you go, hey, something just hit me, or in my coaching call, let's try this? And how do you communicate that between the two of you? Or is it strictly nothing to do around the mechanics of the office and more around the headspace? I don't know.
It's both. And we handle it more the first way. It's like, okay, let's do this. And like, we're adaptable, and our kind of running joke of the office is like, the only thing consistent in our office is change. Yeah. So it's just, we literally have changed the configuration of our tables probably 3 times. And we did that within like the first 3 years. So our patients would one day walk in, they're like, wait, what's going on now? And procedures, I mean, we're always refining and trying to make sure that we're being as efficient and doing it the best that we can. So that's a big piece of it too. So
yeah, I think also just, you know, something that you said made me think about just like how we talk to each other, and just, you know, I think we're still just finding out, you know, how to coach each other too. And it's one reason why having somebody else coaching you is really, really helpful sometimes, because being a couple in the office, you know, it's you want to separate your lives from it, but you can't, you know, it all just kind of flows together. And when I want to make a change and she doesn't want to make a change, you have to figure out how to work around that. And that's been like the biggest opportunity for us, is just how to grow more together, because you know, this office isn't like 50% her and 50% me. It's like, it's 100% us. Right. And just figuring out how to continue to grow in a way that meets both of our values. And thankfully, you know, we seem to value the same thing. So it's been pretty easy so far, but not without work. Definitely not without work. Yeah.
And now you have a big change coming also, you know, I mean, obviously you've got a baby coming, you know, and, you know, Dr. Amy, who knows what you know, how long you're going to be out of the office and how you're going to phase in. That's all something that, you know, because we did it and it was different, and, you know, that kind of thing. And Ari, I have to tell you, Doc, that, you know, I felt alone. You know, it was really bizarre for me. I mean, we were seeing a lot of people at the time, and it was like, all of a sudden it was like, oh my, I'd come home and she'd say, oh, I didn't get a chance to shower. And I was like, oh my God. I just saw, you know, 278 people today, and it was like I was like just fragmented, you know, and it was kind of like,
I hand him a baby and go, here, just hold her.
Yeah.
But the other piece around that was, I didn't have my partner, so to speak, right? And so I was feeling a little bit lost, and yet she had her baby, our baby, right? At home and doing her thing, and of course not showering or didn't get a chance to eat today, which kind of happens, with newborns. It was just so different, and we had to adapt and had to learn and had to do what we do with it, and you'll see. I mean, and everybody has their own private life. So you're different. It was different for our second, different for our third. So you'll have, and it was all good. It was perfect. And I have to tell you something, and I tell people this all the time. My practice was not mine. Our practice was already seeing a lot of people, and it just exploded even more after our first child, after Lauren, and people say, well, why, how, and I just said, I just had more love, just like, it just opened up my space. Like I would say, I'm out of here at 7 o'clock because I want to go home and see my baby, and see my wife. Right. And it was like, the intention was so set that when I was there, I was there. And when I wasn't there, I wasn't there. I was with my family, with Mary, with the newborn baby. And it was like, we just took off because I wasn't like this. The practice wasn't running me, and I was running the practice. We were always running the practice, but we were really running the practice now, because it was like, nope, that new one coming, nope, not taking it. I'm going home, kind of thing. Just
that's crazy. Amazing to hear. That's awesome. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do and how that's gonna work, but we haven't
even decided on a name yet. So
do you have an idea though what you're going to do as far as like hours, Amy, for you?
Not yet. I mean, I would love to I love being there, and Ari and I, we love practice. We talked about not practicing together and one stay home and then we'll switch, but then we're like, well, that's not fun because we like being there together. So we're thinking about maybe hiring another team member that could also watch the baby while I practice, and then I don't know,
or another chiropractor.
Bring on another chiropractor would be awesome. And so we're just gonna kind of go with the flow of it.
We're just, we're the type of people that we're just open to receiving all and everything, whatever form it comes in. If it's the right form, then it's right for us, and we'll just see how that works with the baby too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And as I say, and you could have a plan anyway, but once that baby comes,
it could totally change.
It has to be lived. Because we had a plan. I remember I had a plan in my head, and that's not how it went. And it was just a lot of pivoting. Like when Ron had come home one day, our first was probably 3-4 months, and he said to me, it's just different in the office. It's busy, but it's just not the same because your focus is here. And so I was like, okay, so I need to get more involved in the office again.
Yeah.
And what I did, remember what I did? When he pulled in to our garage, this is actually when I had, after the third kid, we had signs all up in the garage. So when he was at the office, we were concepting new patients. So we were making signs about how many new patients and patient visits, and we were plastering them. And when he walked in, myself or the girls, we'd ask him, how many new patients today? So it had Ron feeling less alone. Because physically I wasn't there, but mentally and emotionally I was there.
Yeah, you were bringing your energy, your intention.
Yeah. I like that. Instead of just oh, you were at the office today. I was nursing all day. It was kind of So he said, he goes, this is working. And, and he goes, can I have pictures? Everyone's asking about the babies or the kids. Yeah. So we had pictures in every single room.
Every month you updated.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd come home and they'd be chanting 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? New patients. And it was. But let me ask you guys a question, because I think we are coming down to the end of our time, and we could go on forever. I know that. But what I'm really getting, what's really hitting me strong right now, is that you've got a very, and I see this, both of you, and as a couple, as a unit, have a very strong abundance, abundance magnet going on right now. You've got a lot of abundance. Your practice is booming. You're tripling your space. You're adding on, to your family. You're adding on to your staff. To your team. You're doing all these things, right? And I think the four of us, and I hope our viewers know that that all comes from the inside. It doesn't come from the outside, right? It's not like we just walk through life without intention and things just happen. We create that. So what are you doing? And I don't know if you can conceptualize this or even verbalize it, but if you can, I'd love to hear it. What are you doing to make that happen?
That's a great.
One of the things that I really believe is that once you start to realize that you can manifest things into existence, you become really focused on not allowing yourself to get sidetracked in how you feel about things. And that's been like my biggest area of growth over the last 5 years, just being in like from opening up a business to, and graduating school and becoming a chiropractor and just moving to a whole different state and just all these life changes. But through that all, really realizing that like how I am determines what I receive, and being able to get clearer on just, my internal state and wanting to have abundance and be in a state of gratitude, and how good I feel when I just, want to love on people, really is what it comes down to, through chiropractic, through just friendships and, how all that works. And so just how I am. And that's an everyday thing, when you wake up, like not every day is the best day you've ever had. And I'm not always excited to go to the office, but I know that when I get clear on what I want, it always comes back to abundance and gratitude, because those are the things that build your life, right? And if you want to build your life in a way that you have just that overwhelming support and love around you, then you need to have it here first. And that's really like where everything starts from anyways. Yeah.
I love it. Amy, how about you? What I'm hearing, Ari, the attitude of gratitude, man.
Yeah. Attitude of gratitude, totally.
Right there.
Yeah, I mean, like Ari said, just making it a part of like our everyday lifestyle. Like it's not like dedicated to one thing that has got us here. It's all the things that are, that we've brought into our life or done, going through seminars and having mentors and, growing up in a chiropractic family too, of just like learning and knowing that like my body heals itself and that there's this intelligence, and like then getting into chiropractic school and being like, oh, that's what my mom was talking about, just that abundance from there too. And having that in my life and expanding on it through whether it's like listening to awesome music on the way to the office or a podcast in the morning, or there's always something usually that we do to kind of get us in that like space, and meeting with our team, and just like little habits that we've put in place to help prepare us to serve. So just all the things. So it doesn't feel like a job. It's a part of like your lifestyle, and you love doing it. So it's fun.
Yeah. You have to have ways to have fun. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Just sprinkle little bits of fun all over your life and it'll be great.
Yeah. That's what we do.
I love it. Well, we're getting to that point.
I know. Okay. Well, before we wrap up, so I have a question I want both of you to answer.
And we do this with everybody.
We do.
Life by Life West.
Yes. If you go back and you could give yourself advice, and we're giving you first quarter at Start Chiropractic School, what advice would you give yourself?
First quarter.
Wow.
So Amy, as a first quarter student, just stepping in the chiropractic college, what would you tell you? Knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Just dream bigger. Yeah. I mean, we learned from first quarter, to start visualizing like what your practice is, like, what is your purpose? What do you want to accomplish as a chiropractor, or like for, as you guys know, it's like a part of your life at this point. And so, I would just say like, I'm really grateful for my experience. I loved my experience, so I wouldn't change anything. I would just say dream bigger.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm right there with Amy. My experience at Life West was like I think I was just in the best quarter that Life West has ever had. And I don't know. Yeah, well, that's also this is my bias right now. Thank you.
Don't argue with the mother to be.
But I really do feel that way. And just, the energy of the people that were around in the time that I was there, it shifted my consciousness so much, even growing up like in a chiropractic family. And if I could give myself some advice, is just trust that guidance system that you have, trust your gut, trust what your heart's telling you, and just run with it and just go and don't look back, because when you follow that and you follow that voice, it's taking you somewhere good. And when you can trust that and trust yourself, just, man, such beautiful things happen.
I love it. I love it. All right. Second question. Ari, will have you answer it first because Amy answered it first, the other question. Same scenario, knowing what you know now, what would you tell Dr. Ari and Dr. Amy, who just graduated, right? Just either just starting practice or whatever it might be. What advice would you give yourself?
Oh, that's really good. I think like the one thing that really comes to mind is don't sweat the small stuff. Don't let the things that, you think are a big deal, like in opening up an office, right? Like, man, I can remember back to our first like month when, it was like the only month that we weren't profitable. We had to put money into the business because we just bought all of this, furniture and tables and computers and whatever. And, and I remember signing up for this like website, and it was the only time I've signed a contract in my life. And I so regretted it because it was so not in integrity with like how we talked about chiropractic, and I just wanted out. And I just remember it just taking me over for like a couple days, and just how much that throws you off in practice, like, is not worth it. Like, don't sweat the small stuff, like keep your focus on what you're here to do. In even this, I think also goes for, when you're going through school too, like keep your eyes on the prize. Like your goal is to get out and serve people and do it in a way that you love, and don't let anything else distract you from that.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's pretty good.
Amy, yeah, it was pretty
You
good.
can just say ditto.
You can ditto if you want to, but what would you say to Dr. Amy just graduating or just getting into practice, whatever it might be?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was like very much in a rush to get going and like really just build so fast. And I don't think I would change that, but I would just say to myself, like, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. I didn't feel like I didn't have the sense of like we were gonna fail, but I just wanted it all right then.
Yeah.
And I think a part of the beauty of building a practice and a life is all the steps it takes to get you to where you are, like we had to go through all of that to get to where we are now to be ready for the next step. And so
love it.
maybe
So stay in the destination, right?
Yeah.
Right? Not the end result, stay in the destination as right? The journey. I'm sorry, the journey, not the destination. Stay in it. Yeah. Cool. Well, it has been delightful. I just have to ask you, who's behind you?
I know.
Oh, that's our dog, Reggie.
Reggie.
Reggie, you want to come say hi?
Hi, Reggie. Oh my gosh. I think you need another one, and we name it Sid. You'll have Reggie and Sid.
Yes. This is Reggie Gold, named after Reggie Gold, of course.
Yeah, and he's gold. Oh, look at Reggie. Hey, Reggie.
He comes to the office with us every day. So
Ready
he's
to
our own dog.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
he was right between you. His head was right between you, and he was like kind of turning to the side, like he wanted to be on the camera, but he didn't want to make it look suspicious.
And that certainly wasn't
He really just wants to play.
Reggie would have just pushed you. Reggie Gold would have pushed you aside and said, "Welcome."
Yeah, he jumps up on the tables when patients are waiting to get adjusted, and they just pet him, and then
He's
he gets
got a
off
great
when we
life.
come over. He's already worked today, so he's tired.
Yeah,
and this is the life, and this is the life we get to build, which I just so love. And well, thank you guys, and thank you, Dr. Mary. Thank you, Mary, for we've had a great chat, and I think there's a lot of nuggets that our viewers will get out of this. I know I got a lot.
I know.
But I just want to thank you for taking the time, and we're glad that we were able to corral you to finally get you to boom, plop down and be able to make this happen, because you do have a great story, and 2 chiro kids and having a chiro baby, and coming from chiropractic families and then building an amazing practice, an amazing life, even though 5 years in and you paid off your student loans and done all these really amazing stuff that you told us about earlier. And it's just so cool. So, Ari, I love your shirt, expect miracles. And, we all are miracles, obviously.
You are expecting a miracle.
You are expecting
Yeah.
a real miracle. And so thank you guys. Thanks for being with us. And to our viewers, thank you. Thanks for checking in, every week. We drop these Life by Life West every other week. The opposite weeks, we drop our life leadership line. And thank you for spreading these. Share these with people that especially today. There's people that that are just starting practice, thinking about getting into practice, whatever it is, and and have been in practice for 4 or 5 years and just might hear something that can correct one or two subluxations above atlas that will all of a sudden just like poof, just take them to the next level. And we all need that, no matter where we're at. And that's why I appreciate you so much being with us, listening and spreading the word. So thank you. And until we come back at you again, right, in about 2 weeks, we'll bid you adieu for myself and my partner in health and life, Dr. Mary Oberstein, and of course, Dr. Ari and Dr. Amy Anthony. So thank you all so much, and we'll see you again in a couple weeks.